Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a warm welcome to our dear audience. We hope you are doing well today, wherever you may be tuning in from. My name is Nos Suryati, and I'm honored to be your Master of Ceremonies for today's National Archives of Malaysia webinar program, Fostering Archival Advocacy in conjunction with the International Archives Week 2023. From the 12th until 16th of June, we have curated a diverse range of topics that will be shared during the webinars, which we believe will be a great interest to everyone. Before we start, I will provide a rundown of today's schedule. Today, we will have 3 presentations prepared on the theme, Bringing Malaysia's History to Life. Our first presenter is Mrs. Nurul Nadia Muhammad Nasir, an archivist from the Research and Access section. She will present the topic on research and access to archival materials at the National Archives of Malaysia. For the second presentation, we'll be accompanied by 2 presenters, Mr. Zaidil Akmal Zainuddin and Mrs. Nurul Aika Muhammad Zain, Head of Section and Archivist from Digital Archive Section, presenting on Initiative on Digitization in National Archives of Malaysia. Our third and final presenter for today is Mrs. Nur Kamisa Yusof, Head of Documentation and Publication Section. Mrs. Kamisa will be sharing with us about the advocacy program Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah, which in English translates to Today in History. Each presentation will last approximately 1 hour, including a Q&A session. You can send in your questions via the Q&A box at any time during the presentation. We will collect and address them during the Q&A session. After each presentation, we shall take a 15-minute short break. Now, without further ado, let's welcome our first presenter, Mrs. Nadia from the Research and Access section. Mrs. Nadia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Surati. Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Happy International Archives Week. Okay, as the floor is mine, I would like to thank the Secretariat for this golden opportunity, and I hope that this sharing session will be helpful in understanding more about services provided in the National Archives of Malaysia, especially in doing research and access to archival materials at the National Archives of Malaysia. So without further ado, I will share the screen, okay, regarding the slide as for today's session. Okay, this is the agenda that we will go through for my presentation today. We will start with the source of power, procedures, facilities, followed by the searching system, holdings, researchers, research product, and then ended up with the conclusion. Okay. As the source of power, as we know, we do have to refer to the policies and procedures in order to implement any kind of services provided to the public. This research and access are stated in few policies, which is National Archives Act 2003, involve the clause on section 37, 38, 39, 42, and 43. Next is the reference and access policy, ensure the archives materials are in good condition and open to public. Okay, next is the research room regulation, which is the do's and don'ts for the researcher during entering the research room in National Archive. Okay, last but not least is the National Archives Fees Regulation 2015, which is the fee that apply based on a required format by the researcher. Okay, So we will go through on the first policy, which is the National Archives Act 2003. Okay, for section 7, okay, it states that it is about the access to the public archives where records deposited in the National Archives shall be made available to the public after 25 years from the date of conclusions of the records. So it is mean that this section is applicable for only public archives in, for example, like in file formats, okay? While for publication, it is ready to be accessed immediately once the processing is completed, okay? So next is the section 38. It is saying that where the access to the classified record can only be granted by the Director General if the person has obtained special authority in writing in the behalf from the administrative head of the office responsible for those classified records. So it means it shows that the records available to the public must be in the open status. All the classified records are not allowed for researcher to view the records due to some reasons. All right, next is the section 39. States that the prohibitions against reproduction and publication of public archives, where no person may reproduce or publish in whole or in part the content of any public archives except with the prior written consent of the Director General in accordance with terms and conditions, also upon payment of the fees may prescribe. So there are procedures in reproduction and publications of archives applicable in the National Archives of Malaysia. So we have few forms, okay, that need to be filled up, flowing with the terms and regulation regarding this activity. So the fee is stipulated based on the format, what kind of format that researchers require. Okay. For section 42, in any legal proceedings, a microfilm recording and a photographic copy of an extract from the custody or under control of the National Archives that have been examined and certified authentic by the Director General shall be admissible as evidence. So it will be certified with our official stamp, okay, for photocopies, and for soft copy, we will provide with the watermark. So we need to get the certificate certified by authorized person before we use the National Archive materials as an evidence. Okay. So meanwhile, for section 43, the authentications of photographic copies and extracts may be signed by the proper officer on behalf of the Director General with the official seal of Director Generals, and there shall be paid such fees as may be prescribed. So same as previous section, okay, the photographic copies to be as evident in court shall be certified by the National Archives based on their procedures with terms and regulation applied. Okay, next policy is the reference and access policy. Okay, in reference and access policy, okay, in order to be able to get the access and reference to the archival materials, the public archives must be in open status and in a good condition as well. So if the public archives are still classified, it cannot be open to access until it is reviewed and granted by the authorized team and or owner of the records. Okay. So public archives as a primary resources, as we all know, okay, because it is the only original records created by the department and carry the value of the authentication. So that this policy also caters the security of the public archives, which is the public archive might be secured from any other irrelevant purposes or actions. So that's why we come up with this policy. Okay. So based on the research and reference and access policy, we do come out with the research room regulations. Okay. In order to gain the access to the research room, researchers must abide to the research room regulation. Okay, like lowering your voice, no foods and drinks allowed. Only pencil can be used while you are in the research room. And you have to neatly dress and others regulations. Okay, you can refer to the regulations provided at the enter while you enter the research room. Okay, so basic rule to be is to be a registered researcher before you become a researcher in National Archives of Malaysia. So in order to do that, okay, you can register through our online finding aid system. Okay, it is allowed for person 12 years and above to register in OFA, but they can only for years 12 years until 17 years old, they can only access to the library records or library materials. Okay, only researcher 18 years and above can access the archival materials. Okay, that is the reason why we put the regulations like this. Okay. So next, that covered under research room regulation is the do's and don'ts. So, like example, the attire while in the research rooms. Okay, how to handle the materials. Any restricted valuable belongings will be kept in personal locker providers. Okay, these do's and don'ts need to be abide by the researchers unless they were not allowed to enter the research room. Okay. Okay, another services that provided in our research room is this reservation service and also photocopies or reproductions or copies of archival materials. Okay, so researcher can proceed the reservation application if they are willing to continue. We will allow only for 3 days maximum. Okay, 3 working days maximum for reservation. Okay. So the copies of archival materials restricted with 1/3 of the full pages for archival materials. Okay, only 1/3 pages. Okay, like example, if the files have 100 pages, so they were only allowed to have a copies on 33 pages only. Okay, that is for archival materials. While for library materials, only quarter from the full pages. For example, like if the book have 100 pages, okay, we will only allow only 25 pages to be copied. Okay. However, it is not applicable for classified records. Okay, any classified records or any records that contain individual information, thesis and also NADA collections will not be allowed to make any copies of that documents. Okay. All right, so we go to the last but not least of the policies or regulation, okay? National Archives Fee Regulations 2015. All right, the fees is to get the copy of archival materials are based on the formats on the records. It depends on the researcher which format that they want. All right, for example, for PDF format, we will charge 10 ringgit per page. Okay, 10 ringgit Malaysia per page. Okay, for JPEG, 30 ringgit per page. And for photocopies of physical like photostat, for archival materials, 30 cents only. All right, this is, I think that is the cheapest price. Okay. Okay, next we move to the procedures. Okay. In order to get access and reference to the archival materials, there are procedures that need to follow. Okay, need to abide by the researcher. First, a person intending to conduct research at the National Archives of Malaysia must be registered as a researcher in our system. Okay, nowadays we will only allow registration through our online finding aids. Okay, later on I will share with you how to register. Okay. So after registration, okay, researcher will receive the researcher card. Okay, like you can see here, right? There is the name, ID number, and also date of registration. So this is the ID number. Okay. So also, the researcher must abide with any restrictions and regulations, okay, stated by the National Archives to ensure the safety and the integrity of the archival materials. Okay, this is only items that be allowed to enter in the research room at the National Archives of Malaysia, which is pencils, notebooks, laptop without bags, okay, small wallet, and also ID card. researcher card. Okay, the rest here are not allowed. Okay, not like other country. Okay, National Archives and other countries, some place allow researchers to bring their handphones, but in Malaysia it is not allowed yet. Okay. So next is the facilities. Okay, there are a few facilities that provided for researchers in National Archives of Malaysia. Okay, this is how our research room looks like. Okay, it can accommodate 100 researchers at one time. Okay, as you guys can see here, okay, at the top area here, it is to view the library materials, and down here is to review the archival materials. Okay, we separated the area. All right, next is the computer terminal. Okay, computer terminals, they can be used to search the archival materials through our system, Compass, and also OFA. All right, so this is the personal locker to keep all the valuable belongings or personal belongings that not be allowed to bring together while you're entering the research room. Okay, besides online searching system like Compass and OFA, we also provide the manual searching system, okay, where researcher needs to check manually through our finding aid like the session list, file list, catalogs, and bibliographies. Okay, that is a special room that locates all the manual finding aids. Okay. So here is the Wi-Fi. Okay. Wi-Fi free, okay, free voucher we provide to all the researchers. All right, so the next is the machine that been used for photocopy or duplicating or reproduce the copies of the archival material. Okay. This is the retrieval of government gazette. Okay. In our research room here, okay, as for the computer terminals, we only have 16 computer terminals to use to search the archival materials. Okay. Okay. As I have mentioned before, there are reservation services where researchers can reserve their archival materials. Okay, if they cannot finish their research at a day, so they can make a reservation maximum for 3 days. Okay, so this is the form that they have to fill up and submit to the counter. We also provide the consultation service. Okay, normally the consultation service is regarding our holdings, okay, information regarding research and access. Somehow a lot of researchers really need to understand how to use our system and how to make their research very easy to get the archival materials in order to complete their research. Okay. So we also provide departmental loan, okay, which is for departments that have sent their files to the National Archives and wanted to refer their files again. So departmental loan is only allowed for to the owner of that files itself. Other owner of files or different owner will not be allowed to get the files. Okay. All right. This is the system that been used in archival materials. In archival National Archives of Malaysia. Okay. System Compass system, computerized archival system and services. All right. It is one of the electronic finding aid where the system enables researchers to search and request archival materials from the research room. Okay, this Compass system only can be accessed while you are in the research room. Okay, because it is intranet based. So if once it is intranet, so it can only access in the premise itself. All right. So this system can not only built up for researcher. Okay, it is the system that captures all the processes involved in managing the archival materials. Okay, so this system is provided for two purposes, one for researcher and one for the archivist. Okay. All right. So this one is the information that you need to enter, okay, your IC number and passport number, and also the state number before you proceed to continue the operation. So this system available in two language, which is Malay and English, okay. All right. This screen show you how to browse the archival materials. Okay, there are three methods that can be used to retrieve the archival materials. Okay, first one, you can use a session number. If you already know the accession number, okay, how you can know the accession number is if you browse it from the OFA, okay, our OFA, Online Finding Aids, you can get the accession number and you can just key in here, right? Then you can directly go to the exactly files, okay. Next method is the search text. This is a keyword, open text base, all right? So you can type any keywords that you need regarding your research here. So for this example, we show you the Malaysia, okay. So this is the collection available regarding Malaysia keyword that been entered. All right. Another method is by using the source. If you know the source of that file or documents, you can directly put the source information here. All right. Like example, National Archives of Malaysia. So the system will bring out the list regarding that source. All right. So here you can see all the blue colors is the records categories available regarding Malaysia, and this is the total number of files. Okay, files we have 16,000 plus, emblem and so on. So at the right area is a location that we can directly change before we set. All right, because National Archives have their branch at the state like Johor, Melaka, Pahang, Kelantan, Sabah, Sarawak, Perak, Kedah and Perlis. Okay, Kedah Perlis will be joined at one place stated in Kedah. Okay, so we can change the location here. Okay, this is how the list of files looks like. All right. So here you can see the accession number, the file number here, the title and the status. Okay, the status is very important because only with repository status can be borrowed by the researcher. All right, because this system only allow one file for one researcher only. So once the file is already borrowed by researcher A, so researcher B cannot borrow the same item again. All right. So below here, as you can see, okay, got a few buttons here. So if the files already available in digital format, this button image document will appear. So you can click in this image document button and you can directly view the PDF format of the files. So you will not allow to borrow the physical files as the files already digitized. Okay. All right. See, this is the screens of metadata. Okay, regarding the title that been selected, this metadata information will appear. All right, the accession number, date of the first sheet of the files until the last sheet. Okay. So the file number, the title, the source, we can see here the source is Selangor Secretariat. Okay, and then the description. So this is the fields that can be referred by researcher before they receive the archival materials in hand. Okay, so this also need to be aware for all archivists and also researchers, because only archival materials in a good condition will be allowed to be borrowed or to be reviewed physically by the researcher. Okay. All right. This is the button that I've mentioned just now. Okay. So this is the main page of the online finding aids. All right. Compass system. Okay. Previously, Compass system is the intranet based. So OFA is a system that can be accessed anytime, anywhere. Okay, by using your gadgets. All right. Not only can be accessed in the research room. All right. So the difference is this OFA can be accessed by researchers from all over the world. Okay. While Compass system only in the research room in National Archives of Malaysia. All right. All right. So before entering this OFA, okay, we need to register as a researcher first, right? Okay. So this is the button for researcher to register. Okay. So this is the list, okay, list that can be seen. All right, the data between OFA and Compass is the same. All right, the metadata are same. Only the search engine is different. Okay, as you can see here, we can directly see the total number of documents available at this OFA, from this OFA throughout the system, throughout the keywords that we try to search. Okay, we just can key in the keyword here. We can also do an extended search if we want to go or we want to narrow down our scope. All right. Okay. So this is the digitized document appeared. All right. There is a watermark here. Okay, there is a watermark here. And also, if you ask for photocopy or reproductions of archival materials, we will provide you with the watermark. If you guys don't want to make your copy with a watermark, okay, you can make a request during your application. Okay. Okay, together with the details. Okay, all the details also sync with Compass metadata. All right. Okay, this is how we locate our manual finding aids. Okay, all the accession lists, file lists, catalogs, and bibliographies are put here. Because some researchers prefer to use manual and some researchers prefer to use online. So we do provide two tools, okay, for researchers to find or to retrieve the archival materials. Okay, now we go to our holdings. Okay. In National Archives of Malaysia, there are 3 million over, okay, archival materials. All right. As for files, we have 3 million. Non-files, we have 1 million plus, and total are almost 4 million. All right. So the biggest collections is the Selangor Secretariat Office. All right. We have 303,000 records over under Selangor Secretariat Office. Okay, here is the samples of the earliest archival materials that National Archives of Malaysia have, which is the baptism record in 1642. All right. So this is the original Dutch record that we collected from a church in Malacca. Okay, this is, okay, as you guys can see, this is the Declaration of Independence. This is original, right? Only one available in Malaysia, the original one. All right. So we also do have collections in newspaper. Okay. Okay. This is the statistics of the archival materials that has been referred by researchers. Okay, and the number of the new researcher registered every year. All right. So this is the number. All right. Until there's a decrease, as you can see. Okay, it's decreased. Okay, due to the pandemic COVID-19. So we expected for this year will be increased. Okay, due to the situation as back to normal, right? Okay, as for research product, National Archives has 1,500 theses that from Master and Doctor of Philosophy graduates who had used the archival materials from the National Archives to complete their research. Okay, so we do ask all the researchers that has completed their thesis to send one copy to our National Archives of Malaysia, and we'll put it in the library to be referred by other researchers. Okay, for research product like thesis or publication, we can only allow for researchers to view only. We are not allowed for copying. Okay. Okay. The last slide here. Am I too fast? All right. So as this session, okay, we can conclude that the main responsibility of the National Archives of Malaysia are to gather, preserve, and make available public records for reference by member of the public, right? Public records of historical or national value which are transferred to the National Archives are preserved as source of reference in the future. So in order to achieve this objective, research and reference facilities are provided to help researcher instilling a sense of patriotism as well as helping in formulating policies on national solidarity. Okay, I think that's all from my presentation, from my presentation. So we can proceed if there is a question from the participants here.
Thank you, Mrs. Nadia, for giving us an overview on research and access procedures and facilities at National Archives of Malaysia. So we shall now begin answering questions submitted during the presentation. I have some with me. So we hope Mrs. Nadia can answer all the questions given. So we shall go to our first question. How many files can be borrowed at one time?
Okay. In National Archives of Malaysia, right, we allow one researcher at one time borrow 15 items. All right. Okay, so at one time, 15 items will be allowed to be borrowed by researcher. So once they finish their first 15 items, okay, they return back to the counter and then they can start again to borrow another 15 items. Okay, that is the process in the archive.
Okay, thank you. So our second question, how long the files or records will be kept in NAM, in National Archives of Malaysia?
Okay, as for your information, okay, the records that been kept in National Archives of Malaysia is for a lifelong, forever will be kept in National Archives of Malaysia. Because why? Because it is the valuable records that need to be preserved, conserved, in order to ensure that our national history, okay, won't be erased from other informations, so that all the records available in archival in the National Archives of Malaysia will be kept forever. All right, so that we can know our history at our country itself.
Okay, thank you. I hope that makes clear to the whoever asked the question. So our third question. Are those archival materials can be seen through OFA, Online Finding Aid? Can it be downloaded directly?
Okay, as for now, we won't allow, we're not allowed for researcher to download the copies from Online Finding Aid. Okay, it must be go through from the counter with the borrowing form or reprographic form. Okay, so still do it by manually, or you can just email to our section, okay, at SRA at archive.gov.my.
Okay. Another question coming in. Is there any action or penalties towards any researcher who accidentally take photo from any content of the files they borrow?
Okay, as we are not allowed to bring handphones, okay, that's why we're not allowed to bring handphones, okay, to the research room. So that will make that researcher will not allowed to take photos. If we find out, we will ask them to out from the research room. The first warning. Second warning will do another action.
Okay, thank you. Some more questions. Okay. Is about the research card, members card. If it is expired, then does the researcher need to reapply or do the start the new registration?
Okay, for a research card that has been expired, we can only you just have to inform our counter to renew the member. Okay, we don't have to make another new registration. We just have to renew it at the counter. All right. So the card is lifelong. Okay, you just have to update the date of research.
Okay. Another question. Someone asked, how many records available to access by researcher?
Okay,
all.
All right. In the National Archives of Malaysia, as long as the records is in open status, they are allowed to be researched, to be searched by or to be viewed by the researcher. So as I've mentioned just now, we have over 3 million or 4 million records that can be searched or viewed by the researchers, right? As long as it is in open status. All right, okay?
Okay. Some more, Mrs. Nadia, please bear with me. Is there any restriction on attire for researchers while handling their archives? I think you have already answered. Perhaps you can emphasize again.
Yeah, for the attire while entering the research room, you just have to neatly dress. Okay, this is because of we are in a public area, so we have to make sure that we are in proper attire. Okay, and another thing is research room, the temperature is very, very cold because we have to make sure that the temperature is suit with the cover materials. All right. So that is the requirements. So that is why we advise you to proper to come in the research room with the proper attire. Okay, so that you won't be cold or shivering or what else. Okay, so that is our advice. All right. Hope this answer you.
Sometimes it's like winter in the research hall. Okay. So another question, what are the criteria for records to be kept in National Archives of Malaysia? Like if I want to send one of our company publication to National Archives.
Okay, there is a lot of criteria for records that can be kept as long as there's a value, historical value, department's value, functions of the departments. If you want to send one copy of company publication, okay, we are welcome you to do so, right? Because in archives, not only on files or government's records, we do keep, okay, we do receive the publications like annual reports of the company. So you may sign it through the sections, disposal records sections.
Okay, next question. How to determine the archive material is the original?
Original.
Original or
Okay.
fake?
So first we have to look at the physical forms of the archives. Okay, how to determine, right? The archives material is original. So we have to look at the physical forms of the archives, and if the researcher to determine the record itself means that all documents that we receive or we keep in our holdings or that everything is original. So because before we do ask the department or donator to send their materials to the archive, there are teams, okay? There are teams that will make selections, okay, regarding the value of the records. So they have, so there are no worries, okay? The records that are available in National Archives are the original one, okay?
Okay, Mrs. Nadia, one more. Many of our historic documents are currently kept in other countries' archives or libraries or museums, such as in Portugal, Britain, Dutch, and so on. Is there any efforts, initiatives by National Archives of Malaysia to bring back those priceless documents back to our country to be kept in archives for our researchers' reference?
Yes, we do have our team, all right, to get the copies of the records from the Public Record Office, London, and other archives. Okay, we do have the projects, okay, in Public Records Office, London, and also National Archives of India. Okay, so all the materials we receive in soft copy format. Okay, so we do have a team that do that particular job. All right.
Okay, our next question. What is the current descriptive standard that National Archives of Malaysia is adopting for your collections? Descriptive standard that we are using for our collections. Are there any plans to move to records in context?
Okay, for descriptive, we do refer to the ISAC-G. Okay, that is our guides that being used right now. ISAC-G, all right?
Okay, I think 2 more questions from me. Not from me, I'm reading for you. What is the maximum capacity of researcher can be facilitated by National Archives of Malaysia at one time? And the other question from the one who asked, does researcher need to do reservation before coming?
Okay, as I mentioned before, at one time, our research room can accommodate up to 100 person at one time. Okay, so before entering or coming to the research room, you may do a reservation through OFA. Okay, if you do a reservation through OFA, it only allow for 5 items. So you have another 10 items that can be used to borrow the physical materials at the research room itself. Okay, so you may, or else you may come in to the research room without any reservation also can, right?
So I guess looks like there's no more coming in. We thank to all the participants, the webinar participants who participate in asking questions. Hopefully, all the answers given will be a good give you a good overview on research and access in National Archives of Malaysia. For those who have not come to our research hall, do come over and explore our national heritage. With that, I thank once again Mrs. Nadia. We will have a 15-minute break ahead of time before we continue with the next presentation. Please use this time to stretch your legs, grab a snack perhaps, and use the restroom if needed. So we'll be right back after this short break. Thank you. We are back again to continue with the second presentation. For this presentation, we have Mr. Zaidil Akmal Zainuddin and Mrs. Nurul Aika Muhammad Zain from Digital Archive section presenting on the title Initiative on Digitization in National Archives of Malaysia. Without further ado, let's welcome our next presenters, Mr. Zaidil Akmal and Mrs. Nurul Aika Muhammad Zain. The floor is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Salam Madani, salam perpaduan, salam Arkid yang dimati masa. Before I begin my talk, I want to wish Happy International Archives Week and 75th years anniversary of ICA. I am Zaidil Akmal bin Zainuddin, Head of Digital Archives Section, National Archives of Malaysia. Today, I'm going to talk about initiative of digitization in National Archives of Malaysia. For this title, I'm going to explain about managing the digitization project. So it's more on planning and management side, while Mrs. Aika will explain more about the workflow and the technical sides. If you think about conducting digitization project, I hope this will give you some insight about how to start the project. Without further ado, let's go to table of contents. As for today, I'm going to talk about several topics, which consist of subtopics. First, defining things. Second, team building. Third, planning and managing project. Fourth, digitization in National Archives of Malaysia. And lastly, digitization standard. Define the stakeholders. The stakeholders of the project can be a specific range of people, from historians, genealogists, publishers, university lecturers, government agencies, university or secondary school students, and so on. We choose samples from each categories and make a survey physically or online. From the survey, we can create a goal of the project. Make sure the goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant. Specific so that we don't go to the wrong or unnecessary way along the project. Measurable so that we know how we are doing over time. Are we doing good enough or not? We can improve over time. Achievable so that we only do what is achievable. Set the goal that is not too high, not or too low to reach the goal. Relevant so it will be good enough with current time, and future set the right time period so it's not too long or too short. Before we start, we have to set the objectives for digitization. So the question here is why we digitize. There are many reasons according to your needs. For example, we must preserve valuable records. Some of the records are fragile and cannot stand the conditions for a very long time. To save and preserve the content of the records, we digitize. So in this context, National Archives of Malaysia and National Library are doing this task. Second objective is to provide better access to the materials. For example, we digitize all files or documents so it can be accessed through online, so more people can access the materials around the world through internet. This is so convenient that they don't have to come to the source of the files to see it physically. They can sit in front of their PCs or laptops or using their mobile phones anytime and anywhere they want. Third, to add value to sources, the materials such as the photographs that can describe more than 1,000 words. Fourth, to fulfill the strategic mission and goals of the institution. As I said before, the digitization in National Archives of Malaysia is part of its measure to preserve archival materials. That is one of its crucial functions to the country. Now we define the project criteria. How much you digitize. The amount of materials will affect the requirement for the project. Usually, the bigger amount of material digitized, the bigger cost will be needed in the project. The soon-to-be digitized materials may be put aside at different places or it has to be selected before moving it out for a digitized process. When will the project start? The project can only start if all the requirements are in place. If not, prepare plan B or other plan so it can be considered. There must be preparation for the worst case scenario, such as the sudden budget cut, machines cannot be operated, or lacking or not enough of workers. Then prepare the timeline of the project. This can be done by writing a Gantt chart. It is useful to control the whole process from start till end of the project. What is the long-term plans? For example, The outsourced project can be a model or stepping stone for longer projects and later be done in-house for trained staff and workers. Define the way of digitalization, outsourcing or in-house. The downside of the outsourcing is the advantage of in-house service and vice versa. First, if it is on outsourcing, we account for all services fees. Usually, the company will prepare all the documents needed, but the cost is usually higher than in-house project. Second, we could have the latest equipment and trained staff. This can make the project pace faster. We can save money on upgrading hardware or software because it's all on the latest version. Training staff is not needed as all of them are well trained and can work according to schedule. This contributes to high production levels and fast completion of the project. Third, the cost of technology obsolescence, failure, downtime, staff changes, etc. are taken care by the service providers. We don't have to worry about all incidents that can interrupt the project. Let's go to the downside of outsourcing. First, knowledge gap between the vendor and your organization made the decision making much lower. Sometimes the decision is not really correct because the organization don't really understand what the effects and the consequences. Second, we must take the risk when moving out the materials for the project from the place of source. There is probability of materials that are deteriorated and damaged because of bad handling and lack of experienced vendor. Third, you have less control over the digitizing process. This includes the scanning, metadata entry, and all the processes done by vendor. You might have quality control personnel on your side, so all the processes can be monitored and adjusted according to your standard. Fourth, the service provider may be out of business due to monetary or labor or other causes. When this happens, we have to find the way so that the digitalization process continues to achieve the project target. Other company can come as a sub-company to the parent company to continue the project. Fifth, security and privacy. Security and privacy do matter for confidential materials. Vendor has to follow rules and regulations. For example, there is no cell phone allowed in scanning room. Scanning operator or staff cannot bring any mobile storage such as external hard disks or flash drives. The scanning and editing rooms are made as an island. That means it doesn't connect online or by network with any other rooms. Six, proprietary data in materials. The best way is to use standard format to wrap on the digitized materials such as TIFF, JPEG, or PDF. Metadata that comes with the content has to be really easily exported so it is not bound by technology or standard. Define the way of digitization. There is combination between in-house and outsourcing patterns. Agency can mix and match and choose the best suited condition. The ways are as follows. Permanent staff assigned, equipment purchased, software developed locally, temporary staff hired, equipment purchased, software developed locally, permanent and temporary staff employed, hardware rented, software subscription, scanning and metadata creation performed by vendor. It may give more advantages to us, so decision is very important because it will affect the project in the long run. Maybe equipment purchased get obsolete after 10 years, so it is wise to resell it or to rent it from the beginning. We have to define the audience of the project. The output materials from the project will be used by primary audience who give priority to access the materials to the most regular users of the materials, such as government agencies, university students, and commercial publishers. The latter users will be the secondary audience, such as students from secondary schools and general public. Third, we must define materials. Pick the most important materials that have to be digitized as it is the most fragile materials, or select the materials that are most frequently accessed or used. Normally, we have to prioritize the materials as different materials need different amount of budget, different kind of processes, skills, and machines. The output of the project means where the digitized materials end. Some agencies have systems that public users can access to the materials through internet, whether to use it free or paid. Some keep the materials to use it internally. After the defining stage completes, we have to build a team. A team may consist of project manager. PM is the person who is responsible for the project. There are IT hardware vendors who provide all the hardware, system engineer who builds the system and provides payment gateway, data storage vendor who supplies data storage hardware to keep the soft copy of the materials and system installed. In-house and outsourced staff for data entry and scanning, web developer who builds the front end of the system, scanning specialists who controls the quality of scanning, repository staff who supplies the materials for scanning, production specialists who controls the quality of materials and metadata. Team members make several committees. Normally, there are steering committee, working committee, and technical committee. Steering committee is a group of executives or high authorities. These people have the task of guiding the company or group and providing strategic direction. When this committee meets, it's called a steering committee meeting. It may consist of director general, director of division, and heads of sections and project manager. Second, working committee. Working committee is a group of executives and staff. They may consist of head of section, project manager, metadata entry, and scanning staff, and also specialists. The third one is technical committee. Technical committee is a group of expertise in a technical part of the project. They have the task for anything related to hardware and software use and solve any technical problems that occur. They may consist of project manager, scanning specialists, metadata specialists, hardware specialists or vendor, web designer, developer, and system engineers. Stakeholders. Anyone or person or corporate that may influence of project that can be affected by the outcome of the project. Some stakeholders are agencies that need money or funding. Some granting agencies favor collaborative projects where several institutions participate to develop a digital collection. Knowledge or skills may come from other parties. Inter- and intra-institutional projects have different dynamics. Some have larger stake, resources are available, and you may expect different responsibilities and results. There are also institutional MOU between parties, so everyone has clear idea of their roles. Meetings can be done 2 to 3 times a year for a committee or between committees, according to your need, and there is a need to meet. The meeting minutes and reports have to be kept and distributed so that actions can be taken accordingly. Meeting is a way of communication to solve problems, to report the project progress, and to plan next actions or steps in the project. When a problem arises, an agreement has to be achieved. Sometimes arguments and hard feelings occur, but whatever happens, the objectives or goal of the project must be the priority in any decision made in the meeting. The presence of all related parties is important because it will affect the full project. It's because each person has own duty and responsibility. In the process of meeting and negotiation and avoid communication barriers, some of the barriers are: first, communication skills and style, hence make it understandable for anyone. Second, social distance and physical barriers. It is because they are working in remote places. Third, disengagement. Engagement from all parties is needed. No parties are left behind. Fourth, organizational structure. Highly hierarchical organizations may lead to inefficient information sharing and communication systems. Fifth, information overload. Too much as well as too little information may be damaging. Six, lack of trust. When employees don't trust their employers, leaders, or managers, brainstorming, active listening skills, and SWOT analysis may be useful too in communication and solving problems. Top management sets the goal. Make sure the agency is running the works according to plan and strategy and what they have to do. Each staff has its own tasks, activities, and schedule. When we have plan, we have direction and goal, so we know what to do. Reduce uncertainty. If we have plan, we know when it's going to be successful or not. When there is problem, organize backup plans so no uncertainty. Minimize waste and redundancy, everyone knows what to do. If there is no plan and we do the same thing again and again, it wastes money and time. Set standards for each person. For example, each person has to scan 1,500 pages per day. Equipment costs vary greatly depending upon the nature of the material to be digitized. First, the final output quality. The cost is high when the final output quality is high. Second, warranty or maintenance. Faulty parts will be changed immediately without much questions. Maintenance should be done according to what they have advised you. Third, workflow and productivity. Workflow and productivity may increase the more you invest in your digitization equipment. While it is at the end risky, it will save your costs more in the long run. Fourth, avoid unapproved technologies because usually it still has bugs. Any temporary damage on the hardware or software and taking time to repair may affect the output and project performance. Rent equipment. Equipment rental gives you access to the most up-to-date equipment. So there's no need to worry about the regular servicing and maintenance. Who is the manager? Manager is someone who coordinates and oversees the work of other people so that organization goals can be accomplished. Where do managers work? A deliberate arrangement of people assembled to accomplish some specific purpose that individuals independently could not accomplish alone. That means to some extent, IT specialist such as system engineer himself is a kind of manager because he manages the programmers that write codes. Project manager plans and manages project towards the goal set. Manager cannot work alone. One person cannot do all the works. The manager manages, but others need to support the process. The manager and team members need a clear picture of what their roles and responsibilities are and the time frame in which they need to do them. The project manager is responsible for getting it done and creating open lines of communication and making sure the documentations are being written. The team members must cooperate with manager to achieve target and goal. What is the goal of the project? When completed at the end of the first year, the project will have digitized a minimum of 5,000 images and related historical records and textual documentation into the AAAA digital repository. That's an example of digitization project goal. Please see, it has been mentioned clearly. First year, that's the period of the project along the assessment. As the project may run longer than that, minimum 5,000 images. That's the target quantity of digitized material or images. Both of these sum affect the overall cost much. Image type of the material affect the metadata, system being developed, type of scanner, and of course, the cost. Historical records and textual documentation are the document also affect metadata, system being developed, type of scanner, and of course, the cost. Again, then manager controls the workflow with the help of IT specialists, scanning specialists, and all related personnel. From the workflow above, the form is scanned, the text extracted by OCR, correction is done, and it goes through systems that use the data, most probably with the image of the form. We can see digitization process is in a very smooth, running, and well organized. Activities are well known among the workers. We can see what is the activity average for every section and where the digital copies and data moving and where it ends. This is an example of a timeline from January to 2021 to May 2021. There are actions, steps taken, and who is responsible to do the work. The digitization process involves a lot of money. We also have to set priorities of what will be digitized. In other words, the materials are selected. What's the criteria of choosing the materials? First, it has to be in good condition. The materials that are too fragile are not viable or digitization. It may be damaging when handling is less proper and there is no similar copy of that material. The material has to be conserved first before going digitized or not digitized at all. Second, intellectual property rights. Contact the person, family, or corporate body who owns the copyright. If you cannot find the copyright holder, it's wise not to digitize at all because it is consuming to look for the copyright holder and to seek his permission. Or if there is provision to copy, make sure it's been typed in metadata so that it won't be reproduced without consent or permission. Value is the material valuable? If yes, the material is rare and historical, plus it is a popular material among our researchers and public. Whatever the criteria is, make sure it is in line with the project goal. What is metadata? Metadata is data that provides information about other data. In other words, it is data about data. What type of metadata? There are three types of metadata. First, descriptive, second, administrative, and third, structural. First, descriptive metadata is metadata that supports the discovery of a digital object. It may contain access points, provides links to other digital objects, information about the digital object. Second, administrative metadata. It is metadata used in managing and administering information resources. It includes rights and terms and conditions to access information. Third, structural metadata. It defines the digital object internet organization and is needed for display and navigation of the object. The most effective way of having the transfer of technology is to do hands-on training. The practical approaches also give valuable experience to National Archives of Malaysia personnel in this project. The report play an important role for monitoring the project. Progress report has to be prepared according to the agreement between vendor and agency. About the digitization in National Archives of Malaysia, this will provide later by Mr. Saika, so I have to skip this. Okay, for the recent years, in year 2020, there were 45,494 pages scanned from files. The total number was lesser than yearly target because of the COVID pandemic disaster, so we had to follow movement control orders. For MCOs this last year, our attendance at office had been reduced to 20 to 40% in that year. It really gave us a hit. In 2021, we had temporary staff under My Steps program who scanned microfilms using our microfilm scanner. In 2022, we had a project and we digitized about 300,000 images from files. If you download the National Archives of Malaysia Act 2003 from the NAM portal and look at section statistics, processing and preservation of public archives, all public archives shall where necessary, be transferred to microfilms recording, photographic copies, or any other forms of storage. Any form of storage means it can be converted to digital forms. We have our digital guidelines to archival standards based on ISO MS 2473 2012 information and implementation guidelines for visualization of records. So I'm not going to explain it in detail, only brief because it will be discussed in the workflow of digitalization by Mr. Saikar. This is ISO standards jointly developed by the Technical Committee of Management. All the parties are there. There was cooperation between the governmental agencies and private companies. Okay, for digitization standard clauses also will be provided by Mr. Saikar because it is included in the workflow. So I think that's all from me for now. So I pass the floor to Mr. Saikar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to all of you. First of all, thank you Mr. Zaidil Akmal for the most informative presentation. Okay, today I will proceed with the workflow and technical specification for digitization of archival materials. I'm pretty sure that when all of you had listening to the information given by Mr. Zaidil, some of you might thinking of initiating digitization project in your organization. Okay, so I'm here for today to clear your mind about all the question about the digitization. Okay, these are my scope for today. The first one is introduction. Second is digitization activities before, during, and after, which consists of processes and procedures of digitization, also the specifications of digitizations, and the last one will be the conclusion. What is digitization? Digitization is the process of converting data from analog form, text, image, audio, video to digital form by using suitable electronic tools such as scanners so that the information can be processed, stored, transmitted, and accessed through networking, equipments, and computers. How National Archives of Malaysia select the archival materials for digitization? Okay, National Archives of Malaysia have built a committee that chaired by Director of Archival Administration Division and joined by related sections. The related sections will suggest and propose the archival material that they think suitable and the most crucial to be digitized. Okay, the listings will be provided by the sections, and the listings must have the criteria as per below. The first one is the archival materials have to be regularly referred by the researcher. Among the examples are the State Secretary, also the British Advisor Officer Archive. Besides, the archive have to be unique from special collection and have high value. Apart from that, all archive materials also can be considered to be put in the listings to be digitized. Okay, now let's move to the needs of digitization. Okay, this is what we need to produce the digital image that follow the standard and requirements. The first one, the agencies have to provide room or digital lab for the digitization activities. Second, we must have the records or archive materials itself. Third, we also need hardware, equipment, and ICT software. Besides, we also need information such as metadata. And the last one, we need the staff to operate the digitization. Okay, this is the features of digital lab. The lighting of the digital lab must not too bright and not too exposed to sunlight. The use of downlights and standing lights is not permitted. However, the position of the ceiling light can be changed according to the suitability of the position of the scanner and computer monitor. Okay, the humidity of workplace must be 40% for its relative humidity, but it can be plus minus 5%. The walls of the digitization room must be painted in mid gray, and the percentage of the color is 60%. Colors other than gray and color touch glossy ones are not recommended, as they will cause non-uniform color reflection and light arrangement on the scanned documents. Distance between scanners and the wall must be at least 0.5 meter. It is to reduce color reflection from the wall, which will affect the output of the digital image produced. Okay, these are among the types of scanners. The first one is flatbed or shed fed types. Second is overhead types, and the third one is camera. Okay, as you can see here, this is the camera types. We have one of this type in our digital lab. You can see here there are two cameras on top of the scanner, and it will capture the documents that need to be digitized. Okay, for this type of scanner, it is more suitable for the newspaper archives. Okay, these are flatbed or shed fed types. For this type of scanner, it is suitable for archive that in good condition. If the archive already fragile and in not so good condition, we must have this type of scanner, which is overhead types. And it don't touch the material, so it's the most suitable, and it can take a good care of the archives. In digital lab, National Archive of Malaysia have 7 A2 size scanners, 1 A1 size scanners, one A1 size scanner, 2 A3 size scanners, and all of them are from Zushell brand. The use of scanners depends on the size of the archival material to be scanned. Okay, we can see here, if the material size are bigger than A1, then we have to use scanner size of A0. If the material size is bigger than A2, then we have to use A1 scanner. If the material size are bigger than A3, then we have to use A2 scanner. Last one, if the material size is bigger than A4, then we have to use A3 scanner. In National Archive of Malaysia, mostly we are using A2 types of scanner because we put two documents together, two pieces of documents together. side by side, so we can produce four digital images at one time. 2 documents with 2 formats. So basically 2 types of basically 2 formats of digital image at one time. Okay, these are what we have in National Archive of Malaysia. We have 1 digital laboratory, 1 description room, 1 scanner A1, 7 scanner A2, 2 scanner A3, and 1 microfilm scanner. We also have 24 workstation PCs, and we also have 1 petabyte server storage. Okay, in National Archive of Malaysia, we also have the PCs, storage, server room. Okay, this is the picture of our digital lab. As you can see here, this table, we have used it for the process. Okay, this is the editing place. So our staff will do the editing and converting format here in order to produce the digital image that meet our standard. We also have been using trolley, boxes, masks, and gloves for the purpose in order to assist the digitization process. This is the software that been using in order to assist the digitization. The first one is scanner software that have been embedded in the scanner. Second one is editing software. That is optical character recognition OCR software. The fourth one is PDF conversion software. And the fifth one is watermarking software. Okay, this is the image editing software. We are using Nuance Paperpot for the purpose. Okay, this is watermark software. We are using watermark software to insert the PDF, to insert the watermark to our digital image. So for PDF conversion software combines many JPEG files into one PDF. That means it will merge the JPEG files into one file of PDF. And also it will rearrange all pages in a PDF document. Okay, this is how it works. This software combines all the JPEG image into one multi-page PDF. Okay, what are the importance of specification? The first one, the technical digitization specification need to be known by each operator before operating the digitization process. A high level of knowledge of digitization specifications allow the digitization operator to solve problems that occur during the process. The use of standard parameters will produce a consistent digital image. Okay, these are 2 formats that we produce. The first one is TIFF for preservation and PDF for the access purpose. These are digitization specification. For document, for TIFF uncompressed and PDF, the technical specifications are for the color. We produce 300 dpi with 24 bit. For black and white, also 300 dpi but with 8 bit. But otherwise, for grayscale, the dpi is 300 dpi and the bit depth is 16 bit. TIFF uncompressed is suitable for digital preservation, and the PDF is suitable for access purpose. TIFF uncompressed basically is bigger file size. In example, it might reach 40 megabyte. Somehow for PDF, it might be smaller. In example, just 9 megabyte. And for TIFF uncompressed, there is no compression. It is 100% data as original. We will save it as it is, while the PDF, it will lose the compression And TIFF uncompressed is the best quality, while the PDF is good quality. Next, the TIFF uncompressed is suitable for image or graphic, while PDF is suitable for text or image. Okay, image resolution can be defined as how many dots or points there are in 1 inch of a digital image. It is measured in the form of 200, 240, 300, or it also can be called as PPI, dots per inch or pixel per inch. The total number of pixels in a digital image depends on the resolution and the size of the original material. For example, an 8-inch times 10-inch image material scan using 100 dpi will produce an image with a resolution of 800,000 pixels. Okay, this is the calculation. Length times dpi times width times dpi. So it will produce 800 times 800,000 pixels. The higher the resolution of a digital image, the larger the file size of the digital image. Therefore, if a material is scanned at a high image resolution, for example, 1000 dpi, then it will produce a high total number of pixels, and in turn it requires large storage. National Archives of Malaysia have been practiced to scan the digital image at 300 dpi because it already enough to meet our standard and requirements. Okay, this is the phase before this digitization. The first one, we have to identify records to be digitized. We also have to select the priority of the records to be digitized. We also need to define storage and network for digitized records. We have to know where we want to store the digital image, which system, which storage, and which data center. This is to avoid the waste of the digital image, because if we don't identify those requirements, we might lose the digital image. So it will waste our time, and also waste our energy. Okay, for phase 2, which is digitization itself. Okay, we move to digitization workflow. For process, we have to make sure that material of the archive is not damaged and suitable to be handled in a digitization environment. We also have to make sure the number of pages is sufficient and in the order of the pages. Okay, next, the operator can move to the scanning process, which they scan the documents to two formats, which are TIFF and JPEG. Next, operator will conduct the QC1. The QC1, they have to compare the physical archive with the digital image. They have to make sure that the contents are parallel, and also they don't crop any of the content in order to take care of the originality of the archives. Okay, after that, operator can move to editing, which is they just have to edit the JPEG digital image. They don't have to edit TIFF image, because the TIFF will be saved as it is, and it is for the preservation process. Okay, next. After editing, operator also have to conduct QC2, which means that quality check second. They need to make sure that all the digital image had been edited. Okay, next, our IT personnel will insert the watermark and convert the JPEG digital image to the PDF format. Okay, after that, the IT personnel will conduct the quality check, and he have to make sure that all digital image have been inserted with the watermark. Okay, and then final QC will be conducted by the officer. And then IT personnel will upload the digital images to the data center. Okay, after all the process has finished, then our section will stamp the box and return the archive to the documents, and return the documents to repository. Okay, this is the pra process, the picture of pra process. This is the picture of scanning process. Okay, this is example of image, which we use for preservation purpose. Okay, we can see here, there are borders to take care of the originality of the image. Because if there are queries from researcher, let's say some of them said that, oh, it should be another word at the end of the digital image. Somehow we can prove that it is already scanned with the original content. Okay, this is example of JPEG image. We crop the content, we crop the image according to the content, and we also embedded it with the watermark. Okay, this is also the example of PDF image. Okay, next, we move to watermark insertion procedure. The watermark used is the National Archive Malaysia logo measuring times 10 cm times 10 cm standard size, and only PDF formats will be watermarked. The watermark should be placed at the center of digital image. Somehow, if the digital image is smaller or bigger, then we have to provide another size of the watermark. Okay, as you can see here, this is the watermark embedded into the digital image. It is not so clear, so it won't detect the content of the digital image. Okay, as we can see here, the document that are scanned will be converted to the final format, which is PDF. And uploading procedure will be done by our IT personnel. Digital images that have been generated need to be uploaded or saved to storage. Metadata on the system will be linked with the digital image. Okay, this is the final phase, which is after digitization, the officer need to do the documentation and analysis of all statistics. Okay, as we can see here, for documents, we have three types of three types. The first one is file, second is publication, and the third one is microfilm. Total of archive is 427, 427,188,000, and total image is 11.3 million. Okay, for conclusion, digitization is the process of converting analog records to digital form. Archival materials digitization requires commitment, knowledge, specifications, hardware, software, and procedures. Archives in digital form are more accessible than physical form. Okay, that's all for me for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to our esteemed presenters for sharing their knowledge and expertise with us today. We hope that you found the presentations informative and engaging. Now we shall begin with the Q&A session. Let's go to our first question. So I have some with me at the moment. So other participants can also drop us any question to be asked by our presenters. So for the first question, does NAM, National Archives of Malaysia, digitize your records in-house or outsourced? In what formats are the records digitized? First question.
Okay, for the first question, the National Archives of Malaysia does both outsource and its in-house digitization. If we have budget, we do outsourcing, but we also have in-house digitization, but the output is much smaller because we don't have many staff to do the digitization. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zaidil. The second question also regarding the staff. How many staff are there in the digital lab? Are all records scanned in three forms? That is color, black and white, and grayscale. How does NAM manage the large storage needs of digitized records?
Okay, the scanner we have A2. Most of the scanners are in two size, A2 size. There are 7 scanners. For the rest are N1 scanners, N1 scanner, and A3 scanners.
Okay, the color?
Okay, the color we can scan both black and white and color files or documents.
Okay, that's the practice, yeah?
Ah.
Okay, let's go to next question, our third question. There are millions of materials in NAM. When is the expected time frame to digitize all archival materials to facilitate reference for researchers?
Okay, we cannot digitize all the materials at one shot or in short time because the volume is too large. So we set priorities to start the digitization. We choose only the important materials to digitize.
All right. Next
Okay.
question. What is the biggest challenge in records digitization process?
Okay, I think the biggest challenge in the digitization is the technology because we are constantly need the money to do maintenance for every year and from time to time.
Okay. Next question. What is the largest size of document NAM digitized based on your experience?
Okay, based on my experience, the biggest size of the material is A0 size from the map. That's the biggest size.
Right. Okay. Last question as of now. Does NAM use AI in digitization?
We have still studied the AI technology, but when it is ready and if it's suits to us, then we will use it in the future.
Okay. More questions for you, Mr. Zaidil? Are there situations where destruction after digitization is recommended? And if so, does they affect the standards prescribed?
You mean we just burn the material, damage the material, or can you?
I repeat the question.
Okay.
Okay. Are there situations where destruction after digitization is recommended? And if so, does they affect the standards prescribed?
Okay. So far we don't do that because if we can save the material, we can we save the materials. Because if we digitize, we still keep the materials in the repository. We don't damage any damage for the materials.
Thank you. Another question. Is digitization done at the item level at the National Archives of Malaysia? If so, does it follow the description and access is usually at the item level?
Yes, we do it, the description in item level.
Okay, item level. One more question coming in. How do you classify or identify the importance of documents to be digitized? Is it based on demand?
Yes, one from the criteria is from the demand. Another criteria is that the importance or if the material is essential for the researchers. If it is important, then we will prioritize to digitize the material. And also, if the material is near damage, so we put the digitize to the material so that we digitize it first.
Okay. Next one, Mr. Zaidil. What is the database used to store all the digitized records?
The database, we have a Compass system so far. And the database, we use Oracle as a database.
Oracle.
Oracle.
Okay. I think that's about it. Let me see whether. Oh, one more. One more, I guess. And it shall be the last one. Does NAM keep the original material after making digitized copy?
Yes, now keeps the original copies after digitization.
So we keep the original copy. Yeah, I think that's about it for the second presentation. Thank you once again to our Mr. Zaidil Akmal and Mrs. Nurul Aika for the very fruitful presentation and overview. So again, we shall have a 15-minute break for now before we continue with our last presentation for the day. Please use this time to stretch your legs again, grab a snack, and use the restroom if needed. Thank you for your time. We'll see you again in 15 minutes' time. Let unmute. All right. We have now come to the last presentation for today's session. Our presenter, Mrs. Nur Kamisa Yusof, Head of Documentation and Publication Section, will be presenting to us on the advocacy program Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah, or in English, Today in History. Without further ado, let's welcome Mrs. Nur Kamisa to begin her presentation. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Suryati. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to all of you. Salam Malaysia Madani, salam perpaduan, and salam Arkib Intipati Masa. Okay, first of all, I would like to wish all of you a happy International Archives Day 2023. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the technical. Okay, I would like to present my paper entitled Advocacy Program Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah or Today in History. So, as for the background, the Today in History program, or as well as we call Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah or HRDS, is one of the advocacy programs implemented by the National Archives of Malaysia. This program is one of the signature programs that began to be implemented since the 1980s, almost reached 43 years old. The idea to have this program was proposed by Datuk Muhammad Rahmat, Minister of Information. He suggested that the Malaysian History Association together with Radio Television Malaysia should produce a program containing snippets of the country's historical events to be broadcast on television. The minister proposed this program for the purpose to provide information to the public about the history of the homeland and to bring in awareness to the importance of history in their life. Therefore, Radio Television Malaysia proposed the idea in the Malaysian History Association Working Committee meeting on 23rd of July 1979. This working committee has agreed to submit to the National Archive of Malaysia to study and prepare a pilot project. Therefore, the National Archive of Malaysia has prepared a memorandum with two suggestions. Number one is, the first one is, this program be broadcast on the historical events that have happened on that day for every day or daily. And the second one is the name of this program is to be called Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah or Today in History. So this proposal was submitted to the Minister of Information and he agreed with the National Archive of Malaysia's proposal. So the pilot project was began broadcasting on 1st of January 1980 through RTM TV broadcast, TV1 and TV2, as well as RTM radio in 4 primary languages in Malaysia: Malay, English, Chinese, and Tamil languages. This pilot project was broadcasted for a year until 21st of December 1980. However, in 1981, the RTM or Radio and Television Malaysia resumed the program because they found that the program was very popular among television viewers and radio listeners. However, at the initial stage, HRDS was broadcasted for a temporary period only. So, in order to ensure that the HRDS program can be implemented in an orderly manner, and it's not temporary, the Minister of Housing and Local Government, this is the ministry of the ministry that responsible to the National Archive of Malaysia, together with the Minister of Information, submitted a joint memorandum on 20th of January 1982 to obtain the approval of the Cabinet of Ministers regarding the criteria for historic events broadcast in this program recognized and acknowledged as a historical event, as well as the establishment of the special unit at National Archive of Malaysia to handle this program, to produce this program. The memorandum was approved by the cabinet meeting on 7th of 1982, with the caveat that the cut of the event was 5 years in the past, and the broadcast of the event could be repeated every 3 years. So in 1988, in line with current development, and in line with the government's efforts to deliver historical information quickly and interactively to the people, a special portal was introduced to the public. And after almost 2 decades, in 2015, the HDS portal was improved and developed as one of the project components under the My Creative Content project, or MyCC. The MyCC project is one of the government projects to enhance digitization in Malaysia. And on 50th of November 2016, this portal was fully completed and began to meet user at the link of http://hds.archive.gov.my. So on 23rd of October 2018, the National Archive of Malaysia went one step further, where this department developing a HRDS specific mobile application. So the user can use a mobile phone to download the HRDS script using the Android application. Both of these National Archive of Malaysia innovations were officially launched on 15th of October 2019 by Yang di-Pertua Negeri Melaka. On 1st of July 2019, the HRDS program that focuses on Islamic event add-on Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, or IKIM Radio, namely IKIM FM. Then the program was called Capsule Masa. To ensure that this HRDS program continues to remain relevant, even when the country is being hit by the COVID-19 epidemic, the National Archive of Malaysia took the initiative to broadcast HRDS events in the form of infographics on the official National Archive of Malaysia social media platform starting on 60th of April 2020. But at the same time, still broadcast on TV and radio, as well as on mobile application and HRDS portal. So this is the launching of the first version of HRDS portal. So why we have done the HRDS program? The HRDS was initiated to meet the following objective. The first one is to remembering all the historical events that have happened in Malaysia to raise national awareness and foster the spirit of love for the country. The second one is to enhance consciousness, particularly among the youth, the younger generation, about the hardship and selfless acts of the nation predecessors, which can give raised to pride, lesson, and enthusiasm to defend the independence and harmony of the country. The third one is to enhance public knowledge of the document preserved in the National Archive of Malaysia in order to stimulate research endeavors and scholarly pursuit in this field. And number 4, to raise public awareness of the responsibilities of the National Archive of Malaysia as custodian of the country's treasured heritage. So the National Archive of Malaysia have a variety of the historical materials. Therefore, these materials need to be highlighted to the public so that the public can benefit to these materials. So in terms of HRDS work process, in order to produce a good HRDS scripts, there are several work processes that need to go through. The first one is the first stage is conduct preliminary research in order to obtain fundamental knowledge pertaining to the historical events. This is intended to obtain dates and events that occurred. Usually the research is conducted on the internet or online sources, but this is the quite challenging for us to get the event, because in order to prepare a script, an event must have an accurate or precise date. And then the second stage is carry out thorough research by utilizing resources available in the repository of the National Archive of Malaysia. This is to get more information about the historical events to make scripts or scripts of the historical event, and then gather all pertinent records in both physical and electronic formats. At least three primary documents are utilized as the sources. At this stage, copies of material and listing of reference materials are also done for reference purpose in the future. In case of consequently matters. After that, the officers initiate the writing process, and then the written materials or script were examined by highest up in management to ensure that the script and the date and the event is a good to publish. And the last one is to make the content accessible to the general public. The script will be broadcasted on TV and radio, as well as being uploaded to the HRDS portal and produce infographic. This work process is carried out by only one officer or archivist and one assistant archivist, as well as assisted by an archivist assistant. That means just only 3 of them to produce the script for 1 month at in every month. So in order to achieve the objective of broadcasting HRDS, only events that really have historical and national values are selected. The selected historical events must meet the following criteria. The first one is the event must have must be had a precise date, including all details of the day, month, and year. The second one is the event needs to be described precisely in terms of where it happened, who caused it, and what unfolded. Number 3, the selected event is an event that occurred in the past 5 years from the current years broadcasted. And number 4, the chosen events must hold a significant impact on the country's history. Actually, the word history is usually understood as an important event that happened in a country or in the world that covers the whole era. This event not only cover events that occurred in the past, but also events that can be source of pride, raise awareness, foster the spirit of love for the country, give confidence, important moments of success or failure of country or place, even events that become a point in the transition and the beginning of an event of the course of the country history. So the scope of history is broad and there is no field that can be said to be out of the scope of history, whether it is from the political, economic, social, religious, educational, cultural, and so on. So based on this scope, the selected events should include matters of the most important event or moment in a particular situation, which is the first step or the pioneer of an action, the matters that become a turning point that changes something in the direction of the development of the country's history, the matters such as a relationship and collaboration at the local or national and international levels that have changed the situation or given new life to a situation, the events that have an important impact on the course of history that shapes the state or society after it, the establishment of a body, institution, and so on that has an important role in the development of the country, the decision taken at conference or meetings that have a significant impact on the development and progress of the country, the matters that reveal the behavior of Western powers while ruling this country on the basis of information obtained from primary sources, because as we know, Malaysia was once conquered by the Portuguese, Dutch, Japanese, and British. And also the transition point in the political development of the homeland and the contribution of statements and national movement to the progress and development of the country. So we have to have this event or these matters to considered when we produce a script for HRDS. For the sources materials, the selected material must meet the following criteria. The first one is the reference materials must be based on authentic reference sources, authoritative and reliable, which is the example of like gazette, file, rule and law documents, newspapers, book, organization, official website or social media. And the sources cited via website and social media with doubtful information sources, such as Wikipedia, should be avoided entirely. So this is the sources site, the example of the reference material that we have used. This is what we preserve in our repository. Okay, we have 5 platforms for broadcasting HRDS, which is via radio, television, mobile apps, infographic, and HRDS portal. On radio, we have 2 radio stations to broadcast the HRDS scripts, which is RTM Radio and IKIM FM. So for the RTM radio channels, the scripts are broadcasted on 34/7. The 34 government's own radio channels throughout Malaysia, and add in 4 primary languages, which is Malay, English, Tamil, and Mandarin. And also it was available on radio in local or ethnic languages like Iban and other languages spoken by the indigenous people. In this radio station, there is no specific time broadcasted, but it is according to the time that is specified by the radio station presenter. So the length of the script is about 100 to 200 words. The IKIM radio station, we broadcasted a script via Capsule Masa. The program's name is Capsule Masa. We were started to broadcast in IKIM on July 2019, which is focusing on Islamic events in Malaysia. The station radio broadcasted the script 2 times a day, which is at 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. And the length of the script is about 100 to 100 words. On TV station, the HRDS script at 3 times daily. This is in the RTM 1, RTM 1, specifically at 7 in the morning, 12:59 in the afternoon, and 7:59 in the evening before the Berita Perdana. A broadcast script integrating audio and visual components, and the duration is about 30 to 45 seconds. The script sent to the radio and TV station cover the broadcast for a month. For example, if in January the script produced as many as 31 script, while for the month of the February, the script prepared as many as 28 script. And the script are also uploaded on HRDS portal and mobile apps. That means only one script can produce to others platform. Okay, this is the example of script that broadcasted on TV. RTM 1.
Pada hari ini dalam tahun 1980, ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sultan Ismail Petra ibni almarhum Sultan Yahya Petra dan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Tengku Anis binti Tengku Abdul Hamid dimahkotakan sebagai Al-Sultan dan Raja Perempuan Kelantan yang ke-28 di Istana Balai Besar Kota Baharu Kelantan. Ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sultan Ismail Petra dimahkotakan bagi menggantikan ayahandanya almarhum Tuanku Yahya Petra ibni almarhum Sultan Ibrahim yang mangkat pada 29 Mac 1979. Pada istiadat ini, Al-Sultan dan Raja Perempuan Kelantan telah dipakaikan dengan mahkota dan tiara. Pemakaian ini disempurnakan oleh Tengku Panglima Raja Kelantan Yang Berhormat Mulia Tengku Ahmad ibni almarhum Tengku Long Abdul Ghaffar. Pada istiadat ini juga, lagu Raja Bertabal dimainkan oleh pasukan gendang besar diraja, disusuli dengan tembakan meriam sebanyak 21 das menandakan istiadat pemahkotaan telah selesai disempurnakan.
Okay, we also got the HIDS on mobile apps. On mobile apps, the HIDS script can be downloaded for the free via Google Play Store as well as Android application. And it contains of the all the script available in HIDS online and in both Malay and English languages. But unfortunately, at the moment, these apps got a technical problem so that we can download the apps. So on the infographics, the HIDS was produced on an infographic starting in 2020, specifically during the COVID-19 pandemic period. The script was shared daily through National Archive of Malaysia official social media platforms, namely Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram. The contents of the script include three significant past occurrence alongside a single image capturing one of these event, and with the caption of the image. The scripts basically shorter and concise because this platform is to make more on promotional purposes only. Here this is the example that we have posted to Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and so on. So we also got a HIDS portal that was established in 1997. The portal was launched by the Minister of Culture, Arts and Tourism because of the National Archive of Malaysia is under the ministry on the 1st of December 1998. This is the first one of the version of National HIDS portal. But then in 2015, the HIDS portal was improved and redeveloped and launched by the Tun Datuk Seri Utama Muhammad Khalil bin Yaakob yang di-Pertua Negeri Melaka. And the online portal has a vast collection, more than 4,600 scripts. Also, you can got in Malay and English languages. This is how we This is how we can get the information or script through the HIDS portal. We can get by keywords and by date of the historical event. This is the example of the script that we have done, the English and the Malay. For the visitors of the HDS portal, the statistics shown the total of HDS portal visitors for the period of 2019 to 2022. In 2019, the visitors are about more than 6,000. In 2020, a total of more than 8,000 visitors browse the HDS portal, but in 2021 we have a higher number of visitors, which means we got more than 26 of the visitors, but unfortunately in 2022 the number of visitors slightly decreased, which is a total is about 10,000 visitors, but still higher than before. Okay. For conclusion, also, why can HDS should be as essential sources of reference in a historical event in Malaysia? So this is the answer. The HDS scripts can be used as an essential sources of historical reference because of the first one is provide the HDS scripts provide alternative sources of reliable information about the country's history to the wider community. The second one is because the information presented is trustworthy as it is derived from credible primary sources that preserved in the National Archive of Malaysia, rendering it suitable for the use in educational field also. Number three, the conveniently accessible to the individuals regardless of time and location. That's mean 24/7. The fourth is the current script comprehensively encompasses the historical epic beginning from the Malacca Malay Kingdom era and extending up to the present-day modern Malaysian period. This coverage aligns with the periodical review limited in history textbooks. So this is suitable for the education in school and maybe higher education in Malaysia. And the first is the HDS portal can be accessed for free. So I think these are all about the HDS program that we have produced since 1980s. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nokamisa, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us today. We hope that everyone found the presentation informative, especially on our advocacy program. So we shall now begin answering the questions submitted during the presentation. So our first question will be, were there issues of controversy or changing interpretation of a historical event, and how has NAM handled any such challenges?
As far as we don't have any controversial regarding on the script that we have produced, I think because of the material that we use is the primary sources that what we have preserved in the National Archive of Malaysia. So maybe the sources is can be reliable and authentic one. So no controversy or changing interpretation of the our historical event.
Okay. Our second question. What if on a specific date chosen, there are more than one events worth mentioning? Does NAM only pick one event to highlight, or both events will be highlighted?
Sorry?
Okay, I repeat once again. What if on a specific date chosen, there are more than one events worth mentioning?
Oh.
So more than one event. Does NAM only pick one event to highlight, or both events will be highlighted?
We pick two or more than if the event is more one we produce all the events that presented in the date.
Okay, depends on the criteria, I guess, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, our third question will be, what is the effort made by NAM in promoting HIDS?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, the promotion goes to infographic, as well as the we produce the infographics, the Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media, official social media of National Archives of Malaysia.
All right. The next question. HIDS, I can assume, as it is one of the corporate memory that being implemented by NAM. So in your opinion, other than event like HIDS, what are any good approach to develop the corporate memory in organization?
Like what we have done in NAMS, we also produce the event like Majlis Pengkisahan Sejarah, which means we invited the historian or the researchers to sharing their knowledge on the historical event in the country, and with the audience in the event.
Some sort like historical discussion, I guess, yeah?
Yes.
All right. So the next question for our Mrs. Kamisa, besides NAM and the extensive research conducted by your staff, do other government agencies need to be consulted prior to the publishing of the information for HIDS?
Yeah, if if they decided to come to us, then we will consult them to doing the program.
Okay, some more questions with me. Does HIDS done can be highlighted on a person particularly? For example, HIDS highlighted the achievement or work progress of our first Prime Minister, Yang Teramat Mulia Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra.
Yes. As I said before, the contribution of the individual or the department also we covered to have a script for the HIDS program.
Okay. Next question. Does HIDS publish in printed version every year?
So far, because we have the portal HIDS, so the researcher or the audience or the user can use portal HIDS to get the information in there because we get more than 6,000 in the portal to use by the public.
So promote online access. All right. Our next question: does the HIDS clip being created regularly? So is produced in-house or outsourced?
We have done the clips when the my creative project have done in 2010, I think. And we have several clips of the historical event regarding the Melaka era until the modern Malaysian history.
Okay, thank you for that. Some more. I can see HIDS be applied in our education systems. So does NAM have any plan to implement into our education systems or liaise with Ministry of Education?
Yes, actually we have done, we have sent a letter to the education department to promote our HIDS portal to use for educational purposes.
Okay, another question regarding education. Can HIDS portal being used in any formal education prospect, such as learning and teaching in classroom?
All the script intent can be used since we are using prime resources in that preserved in this National Archive of Malaysia. So the students can use the scripts in their learning process.
Okay. All right. Another question. How far or what the big impact of sharing HIDS? Why NAM only share on radio only, and why not viral or promote the HIDS in social media such as TikTok, Insta, etc.?
Actually, we are promoting the HIDS on social media as well, and this can be reached throughout Malaysian people.
Okay.
Like Facebook, that means we are using social media as for now is
to promote. Okay. So another question. Is there any plan to expand the broadcast of HIDS to any private platform or TV channel?
Yes, we have plan to promote the HIDS to the private TV channel and radio TV channels, such as the Media Prima and Astro.
Okay, there's a plan. So I think we are coming to our last question, looks like, for the day. Do you think HIDS is a popular program among public?
I think, as I mentioned in the slide just now, that the statistics of the portal HIDS is increasing every year. And I believe this is because of the our quality and consistency of the scripts. This is also because of the our program is easily accessible, so that and for the so many government department also ask us to for the advice to because they want to use the programs to create the programs in their department. So I think this is the picture of the that's the HRDS is popular among the public.
All right, thank you for the answer. I think that would be a similar remark to one of the webinar participants' opinion. I think HIDS program need to be shared to public closely. With the last question answered, we now conclude today's session. So we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed presenters, Mrs. Nurul Nadia, Mr. Zaidil Akmal, Mrs. Nurul Aika, and Mrs. Nokamisa for sharing their knowledge and expertise with us. We hope that their presentations will help us in fostering a greater appreciation for the importance of archival materials. We sincerely hope that you found it informative and engaging, and also an eye-opener. We appreciate your participation in today's webinar, and we thank you for being a part of it. To our audience, please note that another session on the theme of good governance of government records in Malaysia will be held tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Malaysian time. The link to the Zoom webinar will be the same as of today's. So we will also provide e-certificates for those who attend tomorrow's session. Once again, thank you for joining us. We look forward to having you join us again for tomorrow's session. Have a great day ahead, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Stop.